Good evening, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks College Football Huddle. We're a day early, but hopefully we'll be better than ever. We're a little under the weather tonight, so we apologize for a little frog in our throat. But we're going to do our best to get through this show because we got a lot to talk about. Hope everybody's having a good day. And we welcome everybody from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. All the groups that'll, we thank all the groups that allow us to share it. You see some of our favorites. Well, you're not seeing them right now, but let me get them down there scrolling. Some of our, what the heck is going on here? All right, let's try this again. We'll get there, I promise, guys. Bear with me 1 second. We thank all the groups. Our favorite ones you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. John Gonzalez at the Sport Authorities, Flo and the Gang at Bottom Line Sports, Let's Talk Sports, Ken Krause from Golf Buds, Sports of All Sorts. I'm going to find this right banner here in a second, I promise you. This is what happens when you're doing it a day wrong, day early, day late. My name should be on this thing here somewhere. There it is. Good grief. How hard was that? Quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff, including the Sports Corner on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoking Jim Frazier. Been a guest there several times, and I've always enjoyed myself. Check his stuff out. Check out Monday's Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook, where we kind of went through all the games from Sunday's NFL action, and we also talked some baseball and some other stuff. Got some news about a special guest coming up next Monday. I'll have that posted over the weekend. Tonight, college football, guys. We'll get into last week's takeaways. We got a lot to talk about some big games this week, important games. We got important news. Mike Gundy, who spent 21 seasons, I want to say, as the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, has spent basically 40, I think, of the last 35 or 40. Let me see, where's that number? It was an astronomical number. He was a player because remember he was a standout quarterback there as well. We're having trouble finding our little cursor. I believe Mike Gundy has spent at least 35, if not 40 of the last 45 years at Oklahoma State, coaching, playing, whatever. Big news. I mean, whatever you thought of Mike Gundy, this was not a big program, and he put them kind of on the map. Had trouble against Oklahoma through the years, 4-14. Few controversies along the way, but man, this guy was just in the Big 12 championship game 2 years ago. Well, 3 years ago, right? He was there 2 consecutive years. Shelf life. Listen, 21 years at a college, at a program, is not going to happen much anymore. So we can talk Mike Gundy. A couple of sad notes to talk about today. Rudy Johnson, standout running back with Auburn. I think he was the 2000 SEC Player of the Year. Only spent a year there, if I'm not mistaken, after playing 2 years of junior college, and then went to the Bengals and had standout three or four standout seasons there. Played 8 seasons in the NFL. Sadly, passed away today at 45, and I don't like to deal in conjecture, but I don't think this is conjecture. I found 3 different reliable sources that indicate it's an apparent suicide, and it's very sad. And you start to wonder about CTE and all of that. So our thoughts and prayers go to Rudy and certainly his family and friends today at a very, very tough time. 45 years old. Terrible. UCF assistant coach Sean Clark passed away at 50. He was hospitalized early in September 9th, I think, for undisclosed illness. He passed away here yesterday, I believe. Very sad. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him. Spent a lot of time played and coached, including being the head coach at Appalachian State with some success before he moved on to UCF. This year, he was the offensive line coach. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him. So a couple of sad notes to start on today. The ACC is going to go to 9 games. Boston Paul had talked about in our group about whether, there was a set number of games that teams had to play in conference, and there is. Every team plays the same number. And now the Power 4 conferences, at least, have matched up. They'll all be playing 9 game schedules by next year. The Big 10 and the Big 12 are already there. The SEC and the ACC will join them tomorrow. And the ACC, by the way, you have to play 10 Power 4 games. So you can schedule one more out of conference. Might cause a problem because, again, that's going to be 10 games anyway. So you can 2 other games. Teams who play a lot of out of conference rivalries like Georgia Tech, Florida State, Clemson. They've got yearly rivalries with teams, and then you've got to throw the Notre Dame situation. Is they're an associate member, of the ACC, excuse me, where they have a scheduling agreement with them. I don't know how that'll affect them. So still more to figure out here. And the SEC, and we can get into this a little bit maybe too, is also announced the 3. They're going to get 9 games. Remember, they will have 3 non-rotating games every year. So 3 games you'll play yearly, year in and year out, or annually if you want to put it into it. So that news, we'll take a look at that later as well. John Mateer got hurt Saturday, apparently. Hurt his hand. He's had hand surgery. Alan Perales says 3 weeks. I'm not buying it. I'll tell you right now. We'll find out. I'm not buying it, and I'm not buying it. I'll tell you why. Because the messaging from the university, the coach, very vague. They're kind of all over the place here, and I'm going to tell you, I would be shocked if this isn't something more serious. If it was 3 weeks, why don't you say 3 weeks? Just saying. Lots of stuff to talk about. We'll get into some of the games from last week if you like. We'll look at the rankings. We'll look at this week's big games, last week's takeaways. Tulsa and Indiana put exclamation points, I think, on there for real. Nebraska fails again. Miami moves up to 2 this week, by the way. Sorry, Paul. But you got to play teams. You can't actually play, Little Sisters of the Poor for 4 weeks. 3 weeks. Arch Manning has a really, really good game. I know. Same Houston State. Some people are going to get into the fact that, and have got into the fact that he got into a player's face and taunted in the end zone. No flag was called. Normally, I would not condone this. And assuming this doesn't become a serial thing, I'm okay because it shows Arch is coming back and getting his confidence back. You guys who want to write off Arch Manning, I'm going to talk to you. Come and see me in January, and then I'll tell you if I'm wrong. If Arch Manning doesn't improve this year, as this year goes on, and that doesn't mean he wins the Heisman, by the way, then I'll eat my words. He's coming back next year. We knew it already. He will be a very good college quarterback. That's all I'm going to tell you. Let's see who's with us tonight before we jump into more. Hello, Michael Dighton Edwards. Catch Michael's latest article on our TGI Sports Talk Facebook page, if you would. Good evening to you. Is Tuesday better? I hate to go. Wednesdays are good because we do a show at 6 and it doesn't eat into another night. And my wife doesn't want to, bat me over the head. But hello, Paul. How are you, buddy? There's Alan. There's Oklahoma's 3 rivals, Texas, Missouri, and Ole Miss. Who's the other ones? Let me just see if I can find this quickly. Here's that article right here. Let's see. So Alabama's rivals: Auburn, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Missouri, Texas, and LSU for Arkansas. Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky. Georgia, Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina. So Alabama, not one of Georgia's yearly rivals. I know you've got to make this fit logistically, right? But I would think Auburn would be out, Alabama would be in there, but that's just me. Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. That's a break. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Alabama. Missouri has Arkansas. How many teams are in this frickin' league? Missouri, Arkansas, A&M, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma has Missouri, Ole Miss, and Texas, as we just talked about. Ole Miss has Mississippi State, LSU, and Oklahoma. South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky. Similar situations, by the way, for like teams like South Carolina and Georgia, who have traditional Power Four rivalries outside of the conference. Again, this will come into play because you're not going to be able to schedule two cupcakes if you got to play one of these other Power Four teams. I guess you could get two cupcakes still. Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Georgia. How's Florida not on there? I think Florida, Tennessee's a big old rivalry. Well, they got to play Kentucky. We know that. I guess they got to play Vanderbilt. I think I would have put Florida in here before Alabama. Texas A&M. Texas has Texas A&M, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Fair. A&M, LSU, Missouri, Texas. Auburn. Vanderbilt has Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. Interesting. All right, what do you got here? Anything going on here? Good evening, Diddy Fuller. The new Pac-12 has yet to announce their 9-game schedule. I'm guessing it'll be 8. What am I blah, blah, blah about? Miami. You like Tuesdays too, Paul? So Tuesdays are better for you guys? Could I do it earlier? I know, Paul, you're in the central time zone. Danny's out west. Probably doesn't matter. Danny, I hope I didn't speak out of turn in our group the other day, by the way. And maybe I read into something. I apologize. So anyway, hope you're doing well, my friend. And my apologies, where I should probably send you a private message. I'm just grateful for whenever I get to join and listen. Love the community and the content and style Keith brings. The bumbling idiot style is big these days. I'm surprised we didn't get either A&M and Arkansas. Who'd you get again? Let's see what we got here. Where the hell are you? I think they dropped you from. Oh, there you go. I get Texas, obviously. I would have said A&M or Arkansas. I think Arkansas would fit better than Missouri. But again, you got to remember, too, Missouri has and this might be before your time, Alan, but Missouri at one time played in the Big 8, and they had that they would be an old-time rival for Oklahoma. So I get Missouri. Ole Miss is the one that seems kind of strange to me. But again, remember, everybody can't play. The same teams can't play everybody. So, so I would have dropped Ole Miss. Yeah. Oh, you didn't question Missouri. Maybe you already knew. I schooled Alan a long time ago, just to be clear, right? To make sure you know your team's histories before you were born. Because they didn't start playing then. This is a long time ago. Alan's come a long way since. No offense, Alan. Me Too what, man? That Me Too you movement is gone. It's dead. Tennessee fans would definitely consider Gators a bigger rival than Kentucky. Bama close, Georgia probably. Georgia, Tennessee's is a little odd to me. Of all the teams, I mean, overall, I think this is a strange one. I would think Georgia would be on there, but again, you can only be on so many teams' lists, right? You can't be on every team's list. Alabama, Georgia, and maybe that'd be unfair to go Alabama, Georgia. I mean, historically, Vanderbilt, everybody would want as one of their three. 5 p.m. Tuesday, 5 p.m. your time, 6 p.m. my time, Paul. Well, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Again, I didn't mean to. You hadn't said anything, and I kind of made an assumption. I hate to do that. And before I knew it, I posted it, and I apologize. I probably should have messaged you privately, and I do hope you're doing better, bud. And take it easy. We love having you in the shows, but don't get that blood pressure worked up like me. Mizzou's biggest rivalry should be Kansas. Well, yeah. Mega conferences, yeah. We're going down the wrong road here, Michael. 5 p.m. Central, so that'd be 6 p.m. my time. I might consider it. Problem is, I'm trying to space it out so I've got some time off from doing shows too, right? Entire days. Think about it, Paul. And actually, I'd prefer not to get done at 8:30 at night. I'm old. Just kidding. I got a cold. I was afraid I had COVID, quite frankly. I got sick Sunday. During the day, I started feeling really bad. I don't have COVID. I just have I think a 48-hour bug. I'm starting to feel better, but I would prefer to have gone to bed tonight at 7 o'clock. Last night, I was in bed at 6:30. I slept until about 6:30 this morning. I felt a little bit better. And on some personal news, I'm staying away from my wife, or basically quarantining, even though we wouldn't normally do this. I might if it was COVID. I would if it was COVID. But we have a granddaughter on the way any day. And we, or at least her, has to take care of our existing granddaughter. So I cannot get her sick. There's nobody else to take care of her but us. And if I have to stay away, it's not the end of the world. Although she'll miss Papa. So anyway. Me too in terms of liking the show. Oh, all right, bud. I thought you were being harassed at work. We need you committed here. 24/7 shows. You're retired now. Step up your game. Oh my God. So I went from having one boss, or maybe 3 bosses, to having 2,000. Or at least the guys who are here on a consistent basis, I guess. Notre Dame could have. What time do you get out, Michael? By the way, you're on Central Time too, I would guess. So let me know 5 p.m. I'm considering it. I want to try to make it work for everybody. If I got to keep doing it this time, you guys are at least out of work. Maybe I can talk those guys into moving the unprofessional professional sports show to Tuesdays at 5. Notre Dame could have issues this weekend, but Arkansas at Arkansas. Listen, here's the thing. Again, I told you guys, Notre Dame's going to make the playoff. If they run the table, I find Very little chance. Just look at last year, what happened in the Big Ten and the SEC. If they run the table and have 2 losses, and at least a couple of these teams, I mean, Arkansas lost to a good Memphis team on the road last week. Not a good loss, but listen, it's not horrible. It's a better football team than you think, and Notre Dame can't go in there taking this lightly. They have to go in and they have to score as they had to do last year. We said this after the loss to Northern Illinois. They're going to need some style points as well. Squeaking out victories at Arkansas is probably not going to get it done for them. Right? I will, Paul. Thank you. I'm feeling much better. After the show, we'll be heading right back to bed. And yesterday was not a good day. I was not feeling well, and I think it was a 48-hour thing. We had a birthday party. I watched football with the boys, went to celebrate my granddaughter's birthday, ate Mexican, everything on top of each other. I was so run down yesterday, body aches, headache, not from booze. But I've been losing weight, about 11 pounds, which is like a deck chair blowing off the Titanic, but we've lost about 11 pounds. And probably the weight loss program, I do Noom, plays into it as well. So I think we're all right. Well, if assuming my wife doesn't get a call in the middle of the night tonight that our granddaughter wants to come out, the new granddaughter, not the existing one, we'll test again tomorrow just to be safe. And if I'm clear, which I know I will be, we won't worry about it. We will. We're good. Thank you, though, guys. Appreciate that. Send your thoughts to Danny. He's a guy in the hospital again. Jeez. Danny, agree with Arkansas coming this coming weekend. I love Freeman, but no shame in that Razorback loss. Well, they've got 2 losses. They lost to Memphis last week. And Sam Bartman, I always mix up his name. Sam, good grief. Isn't that terrible? This happens from time to time. I go grab Sam Pittman. I don't know why I throw Bartman in there. Jesus. Sam Pittman. Listen, he barely kept his job this year. This is going to be important for him this year, I think. I'm curious, really, because I've heard a lot of pushback, which I think is a bit nonsensical. Or maybe I shouldn't say it's nonsensical, because there's a lot of times I think this as well. The Arch Manning taunting in the end zone after scoring, I don't know, his 4th or touchdown, whatever it was, Saturday. But again, assuming this doesn't become a serial thing, I think I'm okay with it, because this is a kid who's obviously struggling through a crisis of confidence. I think this is what's wrong with Arch. And hopefully beating up on Sam Houston and getting, playing Arch Manning football will help him get that swagger back. And if this getting this kid's face helps do that, I'm going to be okay with it. In this instance, Ben struggled. Yeah, like I said, it's like a deck chair blowing off the Titanic. But I want to get down to my fighting weight of 170. I'm just kidding. I graduated high school 177. I've been going up ever since. About 2 pounds a year. Not quite. I can't say I'm going to say I liked it. I liked it in the sense that, again, knowing where Arch's head has been which has not been confident, swaggering Arch Manning that I would expect. I like it in the sense that he did it. I'm sure that I guarantee you his coach was okay with it because of where he's been this last month. And all the doubters, that come out of the woodwork on social media, on shows like this. Hey, I'm not telling you he's played well. I'm telling you that he's a young kid who needs to get his feet on the ground, and I think this will help him. So I'm not happy about it. It's not a great look, but I'm willing to look the other way because of the current situation with him. Normally, I would get all over guys for doing that. Excited to hear your takes on two of the biggest statement wins this weekend. Listen, Texas Tech's defense is really, really, really good. Most of the first three quarters of this game was a defensive struggle both ways. It didn't feel like Utah was in this game at all. Their quarterback was harassed most of the day by this very expensive Texas Tech front line. A lot of that $55 million investment in this team went towards that defensive front. And they were harassing him all day. And the defense really kept them when the offense was struggling, because the offense was just turning the ball over right and left, as well as Utah's. And the defense really, really set the tone. And later on, the backup quarterback came in and they scored some points and ended up winning by 20. This is not a game Texas Tech would have won probably at any time in the past. On the road, a tough place to play. Besides, very tough venue to play, especially 10 a.m. local time for TV. So I like what they did there. Coach McGuire's got this team, and so do the NIL consortiums have this team trending in the right direction. Indiana's just very good. There were some doubters. They're only 19th in the country. They did jump up, I think, to 14 this week. We'll take a look at that in a second. But I listened to a lot of people who should know better than I would, that this team was better talent-wise this year than it was last year. Now, that could also translate into less wins because they're playing in the Big Ten. But they were beating teams, the snot out of teams. Not good teams, but they were winning by like 60, 70 points every week, just like Oregon. And I said, you got to play somebody. Well, they played the 9th-ranked team in the country, and the rankings are what they are. But last year, this was a team that wasn't that far out of playoff consideration. Played very well, had a lot of players back, veterans. And they didn't just beat them. It was a good old-fashioned snot knocker bullying beatdown. All facets of the game. They were really good on offense, defense, and special teams. And I love Kirk Cignetti because, you might think he's cocky, but I watch his. I read them every week. I'm either watching his game or I'm checking the scores, and I hear in my head his press conference from when he first got introduced as a coach. I win. Google me. Except for Ohio State, that's true. Well, whoever they lost to in the playoff, but Notre Dame. He's not good enough to taunt. He's not earned it. First of all, I would have a bigger problem if he taunted. I don't think you're getting what I'm saying, Paul. I really don't. If he was better, you don't earn the right to taunt. That's not what I'm saying. You're entitled to your opinion. If that's your opinion that you earn and you can taunt, it's okay to taunt once you're good. I don't agree with that at all. That's why I said normally I would have an issue with anybody who carries himself this way. I subscribe to the Barry Sanders school of thought, which I know Michael's going to know. Hand the ball to the referee. Why? because I like to act like I've been here before and I expect to be back. But Arch Manning's confidence was at such a low point coming into this game that I'm happy to see him get in somebody's face. If I'm Steve Scarsazian, I'm happy to see him in that kid's face because it shows me he's getting his swagger back. It's not about earning anything. You're right. If that's your criteria for taunting, no, he hasn't earned it. But that's not where I'm coming from. So again, your opinion's worth your opinion. It's good as it's worth as much as mine. Everyone's going bonkers for more college basketball. It's college football talk. Good morning, Chris. Good afternoon, Chris. Good evening, Chris. He's not sure what day and time it is. Good to have you with us. Chris is our Canadian correspondent. The Illini loss about as huge as Megan Fox's career collapse. So built up with such a long fall. They did fall like 14 spots in the polls this week. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember like seeing 3 weeks in a row teams drop so far at once. Notre Dame had a huge drop. Clemson had a huge drop. Even before this bad loss at Syracuse. But definitely a lot. Oregon could play Michigan and beat them by 30 and people would still have them ranked 6. And that's not true. It might be true because because again, I will tell you again, Paul, you haven't beat all the teams in front of you except the team you're playing this week. So beat them and you'll move up. First of all, Michigan's behind you. Michigan's not even in the top. What are they? Maybe they're in the top 14. Let me take a look. Where's Michigan? They're 19th in the country. Miami beat the team. Ohio State beat the team that was first in the country at the time. Okay? Miami beat a team that was ranked, I think, 8th. A team that at the beginning of the season was ranked 12th. And another team that was ranked in the top 25. And Bethune-Cookman, who they could have scored 100 on and didn't. This isn't about it. Just play somebody. You'll find out you're wrong. So you don't have Michigan, Paul. You have a chance this week to kind of, please, when you lose and you drop, you're not going to drop that far unless you get blown out. If you go there and lose, and listen, all this said, I picked Oregon to win the Big Ten. Just let the schedule play out. It does not matter that you're 6th on September 23rd. There's no disrespect. There's no anything. It just is. I don't care that Miami's 2. Quite frankly, I'd rather see Miami at like 15 right now. Don't get so worked up. Calm down, my friend. Calm down. Be like me. Be like Keith. Barry. Right? He should be everybody's hero. Class beyond class. I use it a lot. And I do believe it. In this case, I just am giving a hall pass to Arch Manning. That's all. Chris F. Gray, preseason hockey. Is it November? The Canadians are dying for hockey. Drops equal proof that preseason rankings are just junk. They are. So is this ranking, by the way, because this ranking's still based off the preseason rankings, right? So to me, until we get to like November, well, I shouldn't say it, maybe the middle of October, when everybody's playing in their conference, everybody's played, a rival, everybody's played at least one good team. That's when they matter. If Oregon was ranked 25th, I'd understand your argument, Paul, but otherwise I can't. I'm sorry. I don't know about that. I don't know that I had this for a win with them when I picked them to win the conference. Again, James Franklin is another guy who's not high on my list when it comes to big games. He doesn't beat top 10 teams. He doesn't beat top 20 teams. So he's got a lot to prove here. He's lucky he's got this game at home. It'll be a whiteout. It's the biggest game of the weekend. There's a couple big games, right? Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon, Penn State leading the way. There's some other good ones. LSU will miss. It won't be a game I bet, I don't think. Bethune-Cookman told Billy Napier that it would have to submit a resume like everyone else. What? Oh, God. You know, I just had an awful thought, Michael. and don't hate me for it. Because, again, this is just the way my mind works. I mean, Billy Napier might be just... I'm not even going to do it. I was going to make a what sounds in my head like a funny comment, but there are people that it may offend, and I don't want to do that. It was very funny in my head how Billy Napier might show up to his Bethune-Cookman interview. I'll let you read into it what you want. Oh, God. I got to get worked. Well, you do get. I know you do. So do I. Especially when Oregon fans think they're getting screwed when they're sixth in the country on September 23rd. You'll be fine. We may have lost Danny because he's getting checked out of the hospital, I think. Or he's got no reason to talk about college football anymore. I think about Mike Gundy, by the way. He did a good job at Oklahoma State. He's one of my favorite coaches because he was a guy who just said whatever was on his mind, got himself in trouble a few times, offended people with a T-shirt he wore to practice because, that's what we do. But, 21 years. 21 years. Are we going to see this anymore? He's the second longest tenured coach behind Kirk Ferentz, who's been there 27 years at Iowa, I think. I don't think we're going to see that anymore. I talked recently about baseball pitchers and who's going to win X amount of games, careers. I don't think you're going to see coaches spending 20 years at an institution anymore for a lot of reasons. I mean, I think about young guys. And I think I got about guys behind 21 years, let's say. Longest, let me see. Tenured college football coaches active. There aren't going to be a lot more. Just aren't. Kyle Whittingham, I think, is... Kirk Ferentz is in his 27th year. If you gave me numbers, this would help, by the way. Jeez. Why do you give me this article? But how old is this? This is from August. Okay, this is good. Pat Narducci's got 10 years. You think he's getting 10 more years at Pittsburgh? No. Chuck Martin in Miami of Ohio, 11. Doubtful he's getting 9 more years. Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan. Jeff Monken at Army. He might be a guy who gets 20 years because he doesn't seem to want to leave. Or teams aren't smart enough to give him a thought because of the offense he runs, probably. Casey Keeler has now left, I believe, Sam Houston State, so that one's done. James Franklin, shockingly, 11. You see him doing 9 more years at Penn State? Maybe. Doubtful. Dave Clawson's gone. Mark Stoops, 12 years at Kentucky. No way he makes it. He barely made it to year 12, 13. Dave Dorian at NC State, 12 years. Dabo's got a shot. He's got 16 years. Saban's gone. Troy Calhoun, 18 years. That's a good one. Kyle Whittingham is at 20. Mike Gundy just fired, and Kirk Ferentz. Look at the young guys. Think about the young guys that are coaching right now. And I'll just go through the top 20. Kirby Smart, possibility. I think he's got 10 years now at Georgia. Possibility. Marco Cristobal, no. Franklin, maybe. Kelly, no. Kirby Smart, possible. Dan Lanning, these guys move around. You think he's going to spend 20 years in one place? Doubtful. Brent Venable, no. Mike Norvell, no. Sark, I'm going to say no. Because you're not going to be able to stay on top year after year, I don't think. So you're either going to move on to something else and more money or a new challenge in the NFL. Who's A&M's coach? Why is that escaping me at the moment? Signetti, no, he's too old. McGuire's a young guy, but he'll move on from Texas Tech. Lane Kiffin, no way he's going to spend 20 years in one place. Matt Campbell, well, he's been rumored for every job for the last 6 years, so maybe he will end up staying there. Heupel, no, he'll end up going back to Oklahoma at some point, probably. Brett Keane, no. DeBoer, no. Sherrod Moore, no. Marcus Freeman, no. I don't see anybody making it to 20 unless a couple of these guys who have already got 15 years under the belt getting there. His LL Bean boots and clutching his playbook for the 1978 rushing attacks from Chuck Noll and his 5-3 defense. Hopped up on moonshine. Not exactly. That's close. I had something a little bit more risque and probably get me in trouble with my good friends around the internet. You think? I don't see it. You see a guy, so he's got 1 year, right? That's 19 more years. In today's landscape, with the money involved, Michael, expectations, they're not, I mean, look at Jimbo Fisher. Look at a bunch of guys that are no longer there, some for good reasons. I'd love to see it. Listen, I'm not against it. I think it's good for college football when guys stay and we have continuity, right? It's going to be bad enough with players moving all over the place. But the way coaches have moved through the years, I don't see Sherrod Moore staying there. I don't see Marcus Freeman staying 20 years at Michigan or at Notre Dame, and he's in his 5th year. He's going to move on. Expectations are so extreme. The money is so big. There just is very little. Dabo Swinney's a perfect example. Dabo Swinney's done nothing but win there for 16 years. He's 1-3 this year, and everybody says, oh, game's passed him by. Yeah, maybe because he won't dive in NIL and the portal. He had a belief. It didn't work out. If he doesn't adjust, then the game has passed him by. Mike Gundy, how much leash did he get? After 19 really exceptional years for the most part. Conference championships. Number 3 in the country with an argument they should have been in the BCS championship in 2012. I don't remember the year. It bought him no goodwill because as soon as he went winless in conference, they wanted him out after last year. He had to scratch and claw and make concessions to stay. Landscape says you're not staying 20 years. It's going to be hard. I think that's all well and good, Michael, but Harbaugh is never going to stay there because once you get a bullseye on you, which you could put on anybody, by the way, just look for a reason. And Harbaugh was probably never staying. If Harbaugh was going to stay somewhere 20 years, it would have been Michigan. I'm not saying it can't happen, Michael. I'm saying it's unlikely because the landscape has changed so much. All you're going to need is 2 down years and you're going to get fired. End of story. I mean, he could be the exception. There'll always be exceptions to the rule. Maybe. And I do like Sherrod Moore a lot. So, anyway. Anything else from last week you guys want to get into at all? No comments on my Notre Dame makes the playoffs if they run the table. They will, by the way. You got a couple rivalry games that are going to go away. Oregon State, the Civil War, Oregon State, Oregon. No more games scheduled, I don't believe. Washington State, no more games scheduled. Another byproduct of this tremendous, realignment and all this brilliant money-making schemes that the major conferences have done. So we've seen a lot of those go away. Nebraska, Oklahoma. We may see USC, excuse me, USC and Notre Dame go away. So, what have we accomplished other than making a lot of money for these programs and for coaches and players? Have we got a better product? I don't know. But we've lost some great regional rivalries, traditional regional rivalries. We put a conference out of business. Yes, they're coming back next year, but it's not even going to be a shadow of itself. The Pac-12, they put out of business after 125 years. So we should be proud of all that stuff. Notre Dame absolutely will get in if they beat Arkansas and USC. The rest, no doubt. Those are probably the toughest games on the schedule, right? There's not a lot there. And I don't think they can afford a cliffhanger in too many places, right? Let's see. I don't think they can afford a cliffhanger to Boise State, for instance, or NC State or Boston College. Navy's better than you think. Pitt, Syracuse. And they finish with Stanford. No nail biters. You can have a nail biter at Arkansas. You can have a nail biter at home against USC. I know Danny believes it was hard for him to say, but he said USC would beat Notre Dame. It would be sad to see USC Notre Dame go away, but so many others have. Watching the Apple Cup this past weekend, a true rivalry, made me sad seeing the disparity that exists in today's landscape. Listen, Washington State was really good last year. In fact, they may have beaten Washington last year. I'm not sure. They only lost 2 games. This team wasn't, or 3 games. They weren't far from being in the playoff, Washington State, last year. But yes, these traditional rivalries like the Apple Cup and the Civil War and Bedlam, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, another one. Nebraska, Oklahoma. I grew up as a kid. Every day, every Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, it was Oklahoma, Nebraska. Always. And forever. I'm not singing a song for you guys. What did I write down here? Super conference coming. It is. It's funny. Mac McGrath, the late, great Mac McGrath, who founded National Streaming Sports and put together the two roundtable shows I appear on outside of my own shows on Wednesday evening and Sunday morning, always told me, every time we talk about college football, we're going to have a mega conference. And maybe it's a good thing in the sense, Michael, if it happens, let's say they go to a 48-team mega conference, maybe we'll get some semblance of regional action back in the game, right? This is what I foresee. It is in our lifetime, at least in your lifetime, maybe not mine. No, probably mine too. It's probably in the next 10 years. Which better be my lifetime, by the way. I foresee a 48 or bigger conference. So just these teams all breaking away, telling the NCAA to go pound salt. Remember, the college football playoff right now has nothing to do with the NCAA. It's a totally separate entity. So I can see these teams breaking away, 48 of them, 54, whatever. And we've got a West, we've got a Midwest, we've got a East, Northeast, we got a Southeast, maybe six, similar to the NFL, maybe 6 divisions. And you might get some semblance and get some of these regional rivalries back. If that's the case, then maybe it's a good thing, or at least better from where we seem to be heading today or where we sit today. Oh, no. What did I miss? Did I miss Matt? Who's Matt? Who commented? I don't see any comments from Matt. If we got a comment and you need to put it in the room so we can all see it, let me know, Michael. I know sometimes, and we've been really weird lately with StreamYard, Facebook, and whatnot. Matt, your guy you did shows with. Oh, Mac. Oh, sorry, Mac. M-A-C. Sorry about that. I got you. Mac was a, that's all right. You're good. Sometimes I don't enunciate. My wife is always telling me I mumble. I don't think I mumble. Sometimes I do, I guess. But I just mumbled there, for instance. Let's take a quick look at the rankings so we can piss Michael off a little bit. Or not Michael. Sorry, not Michael. We can piss off Paul. Ohio State stays at number 1 with 52 first-place votes. Miami moves up to second, does garner 7 first-place votes. Penn State still gets 5, but falls a spot to number 3. LSU falls a spot to number 4. Georgia, Oregon stay where they are at 5 and 6. Oklahoma up 4 spots into the top 10 at number 7. But remember, John Mateer is out. And I think they're being very cryptic about how long. Saying. And by the way, even with John Mateer, this team needs a running game or they're not beating the really good teams. Sorry, Alan. Florida State going to get tested next week. They got Miami and Tallahassee. Texas A&M, and by the way, Florida State was down 1. A&M is up 1 to 9. Texas down 2 more, despite their big victory. They're still in the top 10 at number 10. Hiccups. Indiana, the big mover, up 8 spots to number 11. Texas Tech up 5. The 2 teams we talked about, really with statement games. This could have been Nebraska with the big leap. The statement game. Can't get it done again. 2 decades. Where was I? Ole Miss stays flat at 13. They're playing better football than I thought. And it could still be a down year. Remember, we've only played 4 games. We still got to get deep into conference play. But Lane Kiffin's team's playing better early than I thought they might. Iowa State 4-0, has dropped 2. They keep dropping. Their schedule is a bit of a question mark as well so far. Tennessee 3-1. They stay at 15. Georgia Tech up 2 to 16. Alabama down 3 without playing to 17. Big game against Georgia this week, though. Alabama can show that week 1 was a fluke, or Florida State's really, really good. Vanderbilt, number 18 with a bullet. Michigan up to 19. Missouri up 3 to 20. USC up 4. 4-0 they are. Well, Notre Dame does move up 2 with their first win of the year against Purdue. Illinois drops 14 spots, and TCU and BYU move into the rankings at 24 and 25. Dropping out was Utah and Alabama. I'm sorry, Alabama. Auburn. And Auburn just missed out on that 25th spot. Mississippi State also very close. South Florida a bit behind them. So there's your top 20 or top 25. And let's take a quick look here at I'll give you my picks in the pick'em. We'll do the results. I know we did this on Sunday, I think, but we'll give you maybe I didn't. Maybe I did the pros. I don't know. But here's the results for the come I can't get there it is. All right. College football, TGI Sports Talks, college football picks. Week 4 top performers. Danny Fuller and his pesky UCLA picks gets 7 out of 10. Boston Paul with 6 out of 10. Brian, if you ain't cheating, gets 6. Keith gets 6. Alan gets 5. Rick gets 5. And the rest all have 5 or 4. I will point out Scott Kobe, who mocked us all, said I'll join late, has got 7 wins in 2 weeks. So Scott has not made it to the show since. If you're out there, Scott, please pipe in and let us know you're okay. For the season, Boomer Sooner and Beamer Ball, Neil Bush, are tied at 23. The J Train, James Martin, up to 22. Brian at 21 rather. TGI Sports Talk tied with him at 21. Danny and Michael tied at 20. Rick is at 19. Boston Paul's at 18. ESPN fan at 15. Another ESPN fan at 10. Or 11, sorry. Scott Kobe and Poppy's picks. Kenny Gifford had just gotten in this week. He had 4. And he has 4 total. So here's my picks for this week in the pool. These aren't necessarily going to be my wagers, I'd like to point out, for the week. They're not my best bets. These are strictly guys we expect to win these games. No points involved. USC is going to have to travel to Illinois, across the country. What time is this game? I'll tell you, I like USC. I'm going to take USC on the road. It's against my better judgment, but this game's at 12 besides. Ugh. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's when it locked. Sorry. Anyway, USC. I'm going to take USC to win on the road at Illinois, who I think might still be licking their wounds. I'll take Notre Dame against Arkansas at home. Don't want to lay points out there, but I will take them straight up. Rutgers goes to Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota in this game. Rutgers, if there was a home, I might take a shot at Rutgers. UCF, who destroyed North Carolina last week and had the tragic loss of their coach, as I mentioned. Assistant coach Sean Clark passed away. He'd been away from the team since early September, but he sadly passed away at 50. And again, our condolences, our thoughts, and our prayers go to his family and friends. I'm going to take UCF in this game. Maybe that's some extra motivation, and Kansas State really looks bad. Cincinnati will go to Kansas. Kansas, a lot of firepower in that game. Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati's going to be another coach on the clock. The old Cincinnati coach, Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, also a guy to keep an eye out. Watch his back, I should say. Louisville will go to Pittsburgh, 3-0 against 2-1. I'm going to take Pitt at home in this game. I think LSU, that defense, I think is going to be the difference at Ole Miss. If LSU's offense can click a little bit, they should win this game. Tough place to play. Lane Kiffin has had trouble winning these types of games. Signature wins are very minimal in his tenure at Ole Miss. Oregon will go to Penn State. It's a tough one for me. I'm taking Penn State. Sorry, Paul. I still like Oregon to get to the conference championship and win. If this game was in Oregon, there'd be no doubt in my mind I'd be all over Oregon. But I'm going to give James Franklin the fact that he's got, of the veteran quarterbacks out there, he's probably got the one playing the best and with the best weapons. Because he got Drew Allar a running game. He got Drew Allar some wide receivers. One right here from Syracuse, who was tremendous last year in that Syracuse offense and has been very good this year as well. Alabama will go to Georgia. I got to stop picking against Georgia. I got to stop saying they'll be the team that falls out of the top 10, out of the contention. I'll take them against Alabama. So you can be sure that Alabama will bounce back this week. And BYU, the 25th ranked Cougars, will go to Colorado. Colorado's got a lot of problems. I'm going to take a BYU on the road in this game. That's my picks in the pool. What do we got here? Michael's embarrassed by his result. It's early yet, dude. You can run off a couple of 10-win weeks. All you got to do is pick winners. Should be a lot easier in this, right? I'm not doing great myself. Hard to predict even without points. I know. It's been tough. It's been a funny year. Anyone? No, I don't. I tell you what, anybody knows me. Michael, you're a little newer to the show, so you haven't heard me talk a lot about Bill Belichick. You guys can take your Belichick's nothing without Brady rhetoric and keep it in my mind. He's a great football coach. He's the greatest football coach in the history of the NFL. End of story. Would he be without Tom Brady? I'm not saying he would be, but he's a great coach. This was a mistake. This was a Hail Mary. I don't want to say he's in over his head, but I don't think they knew what they were getting themselves into. The kids that defected from the program, they were trying to fill these things on the sly. He was offering NIL deals for performance. Nobody's doing that. They're just giving kids money. One second. My wife is asking me to call her. Hold on. We may have to take a quick pause. She said after the show, so we'll see. Anyway, he's in over his head there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1 or 2 year and done. I don't know if I believe some of the Miami chatter with Bill Belichick. I don't know that the NFL wants Bill Belichick back. I think Bill left the door open for him to go back to the NFL with the way he set up his deal, and he's only got a $1 million buyout if he wants to leave after a year. It went to $1 million on July 1st this year. I don't feel sorry for him. I did. I appreciate your okaying me that. Guys, do me a favor and stick around. Don't go away. We'll finish up our conversation. I do have to make a quick call here. to my wife. Michael, if you're going away, I see you got something up here. I got a lot of comments, or I just lost my spot. But anyway, guys, please do me a favor and stick around for a second while I make a quick call to my wife, because we got a little baby on the way and I got to find out what's going on here. So just don't go away. I'll be right back. Hi, guys. Whoa, let me get this new stuff here. I'm back. Sorry about that. We had a little news. My wife is on the run right now to go take care of Scarlett, and they're heading to the hospital. It could be a false alarm, but she's on her way. Anyway, so we can continue our chat here because I'm sick and I can't be around any of them anyway. Like now I gotta find my damn banner again, for crying out loud. Where is it? I don't want to take a short break. We'll get back to your comments here in a second. What were we talking about when I left? I guess I was thanking Paul for his permission to take Penn State. I do appreciate that, Paul. There we go. Jeez, my God. All right, now we just got to find out where we left off here. Sorry about that, guys. It was kind of an important deal here. Anyway, there's Paul's spot. I think that's where I left off. Michael says, thanks for the show. Please take care of yourself. I will. Don't you worry about it. I ain't going anywhere. I like it here a lot, and I don't plan on leaving. If I could, I think I still got music playing, don't I? Whoops. If I could, I'd sleep on 150. The applause is for that. Oh no, maybe it'd be more like that. So, oh God, I'm having fun with some sound effects that just showed up here recently. So anyway, Michael, thank you if you're gone. Appreciate you too, bud. Bill at UNC, money grab, cannot blame him for taking the job after the NFL offer, not anything. Listen, I'm okay with him going to coach college if this was his lifelong ambition. He doesn't need the money. He's probably getting paid less than he was getting paid to be on TV and everything else last year. But the girlfriend influence is ridiculous. The guy's making himself a laughing stock. His own friends are worried about him. So, take care of your wife and yourself. Congratulations on the soon-to-be popping out grandbaby. If she's anything like her sister, they got their work cut out for them. Anyway, good to have you all with us tonight. We got a small crowd now. Michael's gone. I'm showing only a couple of viewers left here, so hopefully Steve Stolmaker was out there. Are you out there now, Steve? Say hello. Don't be a stranger. Your cohort Janae friended me on Facebook this week, and I didn't invite her to the show or to follow TGI Sports Talk yet, but I did take her BYU Cougars. She's a season ticket holder out there in Utah. You're welcome, my friend. Oh, you're still here. Oh, cool. I thought you were leaving. It sounded like a goodbye. It must be that prolific writing makes me feel like it's got to be something important. That's well done. Let's take a look. Let me take a look at the conferences real quick. I don't think there's a lot to kind of take a look at. Yeah, so anyway, with the baby, there's not much I can do right now. I'm sick. I can't help my wife. I got to get up and get to the dentist tomorrow if I feel all right at 7. So she'll take my granddaughter to school tomorrow. She's 3, but she's in, it's not preschool. It's really school. What do they call the damn thing? No, I can't remember. Kids can go there like up till kindergarten. It's a nationwide thing. It's not local here, but it's, boy, I can't remember the name. And I swear to God, I was like, kids don't need this stuff, do they? After 2 years of her being there, yeah, 2 years. She was going when she's 2, before she turned 3. So a year and a half anyway, or before she turned 2. What kids learn today is unbelievable. Not a lot to look at in the conferences. Let's look at the schedule. Let's look at the top 25 and see what I didn't talk about up until now. All right, Teaser. I think you're gone and then you're there still. Quickly, I watched some of the USC Michigan State game, and the Spartans they're not good at all. It's possible. Remember, USC got off to a pretty good start last year, Michael, their first year in the Big Ten. This was a team that after a couple of weeks was ranked 10th or 11th, and the bottom fell out. There's a chance I changed that pick before Saturday. I took USC in our pool. I wouldn't be betting it probably either way, but there's 2 ways this could go. USC gets her comeuppance because we're not as good as we think they are at 4-0. Or they go there and they win because Illinois is still licking their wounds from a bad Indiana loss. Or they're looking for a team not as good as we thought they were to beat up on so they can take out their frustration on. I don't know. I don't think they're that bad. Brent Bielema's done a great job with this team. They got a veteran team, a lot of guys back. Their quarterback is back. A lot of their skill position players were back. A lot of their defense was back. But this was a good old-fashioned ass whooping because they lost in every aspect of the game. And it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. This is a very interesting game for me. In fact, before I go in, I'll talk about some of the games that before I even dive into the scoreboard here. That USC-Illinois game was right below Oregon, Penn State, and Alabama-Georgia for me. I think you're going to find out a lot about one of these teams, just like I think we found out a lot about one of the teams in the Illinois-Indiana game last week. Maybe we found out about both teams. I guess we'll find that out this week. So I just think that Lincoln Riley can't be this bad. His teams can't continue to be this bad. They're playing better defensively. Their offense is playing really well. They got some studs at wide receiver like they always do. I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. Notre Dame and Arkansas is a very interesting game. Ohio State going to Washington. Be careful. LSU Ole Miss. Auburn, Texas A&M. How does Auburn respond? Can Texas A&M build off that big win at Notre Dame? Indiana, Iowa. Say what you will about Kirk Ferentz and his offenses. His defenses keep them in games. Defense and special teams. Yeah, the offense came alive against, lower level opponents, but Indiana can't. And I don't think Kurt Singretti is going to let them live off their press clippings. Duke Syracuse I found out to be interesting. Cal BC. If there's a team, and I've seen a few comments about this around. If there's going to be an Indiana who comes out of nowhere, who's been really down for a bunch of years, and Cal's a team that could do it. Because what you need to remember about Cal is they don't play any of the best teams in the ACC, as we would think of them. Cal plays BC at BC. Duke, Manny Diaz has done a decent job there. North Carolina, horrible. Virginia Tech, fired a coach. Virginia, got a lot to prove. Louisville is the best game on their schedule. Stanford, in a big rivalry game. And SMU, who's really disappointed this year. This team could have one loss. When I said this last week, that's before they got beat by San Diego State 34-0. But if you want a team who's got an outside shot of making it to a conference championship game or close to it and having a run like Indiana had last year, Cal could be one of those teams. Baylor at Oklahoma State. Is this team better or worse without Mike Gundy? Who's going to be the next coach there? This team just folded up. I mean, they folded up last year with him there. Arizona, Iowa State. Iowa State gets in the league play. They did play Kansas State in the league game in Ireland to start the year. Iowa State's another 4-0 team that I just have no idea how good they are. BYU, Colorado. Colorado's kind of lost. Florida State will play at Virginia. I think Virginia's 3-1. I just said they haven't proved a lot yet. Tony Elliott's third year, I want to say, or maybe it's his fourth year. Probably needs to at least make a bowl game, have a decent showing in conference to keep this job. He's got a really good Florida State. We think a very good Florida State team coming in here. We'll see if this momentum keeps. Castellanos has played well early in seasons before and lost the job. Once to the injury, once not. Georgia Tech goes to Wake Forest. Wait a minute. That's the ACC. I don't care about that. Let's just go back to the top 25 real quick. Did anybody we missed in the top 25 we haven't talked about? Vanderbilt gets Utah State and Bronco Mendenhall. Vanderbilt playing some great football. I don't see any way they lose this game. I believe Vandy has Alabama next week as well. LSU we talked about. Auburn will get Texas A&M we talked about. Tennessee gets Mississippi State. Mississippi State's 4-0. They beat Arizona State at home, ranked 12th at the time. We talked about that game. Oregon, Penn State. I just think, listen, Dante Moore's played some really great football. And he's going to be in the Heisman race, maybe for the whole season. This is just going to be a tough environment for Oregon to come in and do well. I don't expect them to get blown out. I shouldn't say they won't do well. I just don't think they're going to come out victorious. Close loss here at Penn State only drops them a couple spots in the rankings and doesn't hurt them because they can still get to the Big Ten championship game with one loss. Alabama, Georgia, huge game. Huge. Alabama's got to show they're for real. Are they a team that got pushed around by Tennessee for a big part of that game? Or are they what we've come to see and know as Kirby Smart Bulldogs? And Alabama, we know what they got to prove. They got to prove that Florida State aberration was an aberration. Ole Miss gets UMass. Missouri gets Massachusetts. Michael's dark horse. I like this kid too, by the way. I did watch. After you made that comment, I'd heard about him a little bit early before the season. I went and watched some film. Kid is good, and Missouri is well coached. UMass is probably replaced Kent State as the worst team in the country. At worst, they're neck and neck. Kent State has a win. And BYU, Colorado, I think Colorado's just got a lot of problems. And BYU, well-coached, very good team. Interesting take on Cal. Would you didn't consider watching them on ESPN Plus replays, but will now. Yeah, when I first came up with this, and I didn't somehow I missed their score last week. I didn't realize they lost 34-0 to San Diego State on the road. Not a conference game, not a huge deal. But if you're going to watch somebody sneak up in the ACC when you don't play anybody except Louisville that you would consider a top-tier team, now Virginia could surprise us and move into that top tier, but Cal is a team that could sneak up on people, or they could just get totally destroyed. So just cover my ass. Colorado looked horrible in beating at Wyoming. 100% agree. I did rewatch the game, and they are not going to beat a good team the rest of the year. I think I saw them winning maybe 4 games tops. This is Prime's last year. He'll retire due to health reasons after this rough year. That's a possibility. I don't think we really know whether he's, again, to me, he looks like he's aged a lot. When you grow a beard and you're our age, I think Prime's my age, isn't he? Maybe he's a little younger. Maybe he's a little younger than me. 60 anyway, though, right? Don't grow a beard, man, when it's going to be all gray. But I hope he's healthy. I don't dislike Deion. For all the pomp and circumstance and the bright, shiny things and Coach Prime, Deion is not a terrible football coach, and he's also a good builder of men. I've watched, if you watch any of the Coach Prime series, and I understand it's all edited, I get it. He holds kids accountable, including his own son. He didn't let play in the conference championship game when he was at Jackson State. Mississippi State is tough, better than we think. Tennessee's at another level. I agree. Tennessee should have beat Georgia and didn't. Again, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You are what your record says you are, like that fat bastard I can't stand says. Prabula, that's how we say his name, Michael. He is solid, was at Penn State, and he's better than Alar in my opinion. Fair. Sometimes it makes a difference where you go and the circumstances and the system you're in, and he's in a perfect situation. He's playing for, I think, a really good football coach, underrated in Dinkowitz. And I probably just said his name wrong. Let me fact check myself on the Missouri head coach. Am I close? Drinkowitz. I do that all the time. I apologize, Coach. I didn't mean to call you Dinkowitz. It's Drinkowitz. You have a gray beard. I've had it for over 20 years. That's why you say you look 84. Compliments the weeds that I grow on the vacant lot that is my head. I can't do either. I grow beard and I'll even break out, and it comes in like 5 different colors. Gray, off gray. Situation, obviously, Brady was a backup at Michigan. Great call. Quick story about Brady and Michigan. You might have won a Heisman if you let him play. And Michael, you might already know this about Brady. Tom Brady, when he left Michigan, did not go back for 15 years. Because he was mad about the way he was treated there. He was mad about the way Lloyd Carr treated him there. And he came in and won some big games for them, right? But he went back Homecoming, I think. I'm not sure the circumstance. But he went back there, whatever, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And I think there's a big Sports Illustrated article about this back then. And he had a very nice conversation with Lloyd Carr, and he thanked Lloyd Carr because Lloyd Carr put the chip on Tom Brady's shoulder that he played with for his entire career. And he thanked him for that because he knows that he would not have been the player he became without that treatment that Lloyd Carr gave him. Doesn't mean he thinks he shouldn't have been playing. But it's kind of a cool story. So anyway, I think I'm losing my voice here. So I think we're gonna wrap her up. We got it early. That's a good one, right? Do some research. Write that story. Now, be careful because it's already been written. So we'll think about what we're going to do time-wise for the show. I don't know. Maybe it'll become a Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern show. I talked to my wife. And the more I think about it, would it be better for me to be gone for an hour on Wednesday and an hour and a half on Tuesday, done at 7 and 7:30, or, not be done till 8:30 on Wednesdays? I'll let her make the choice. Makes my life a lot easier. But watch us. We'll be back on. I will not be, on the Unprofessional Professional Sports Show tomorrow, as I'll be at the A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond story musical. Looks really good, by the way. But I'll be back on Friday with Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook. We'll look at the weekend with some more college football picks. We'll look at the pros. We'll look at the baseball races. We'll look at everything. And, of course, the MLB update at 3 and the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. Oh, thank you, Michael. Thank you for participating and enjoying yourself. Just thank you for enjoying yourself. I'm glad when everybody does. Always trust and listen to the wife. Listen, if I'd done that sooner, I never would have met this wife, though. So just a little bit cryptic information about me. All right. Guys. Thank you for TGI Sports Talk College Football Huddle. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.